Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. It is 11:35, I think. Yeah, Eastern Daylight Time. Um, the Eastern Seaboard. Oh, greetings and blessings to all of you all. I'm your humble host, Mr. David Null, and also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. So I've been out of commission for a little while here recently, and I just wanted to get on here and do a little update. I've had this subject in the queue for a while about dream walking and some astral projection type of things that people I know that are very interested in that. And I realize over the years that some of the techniques that I've learned over the years are like still like the easiest and the best to use. So I bring this to you with the hopes and the intent that it will help you with what's coming and what's going on right now. Um, I hate to get online and complain. I mean, I used to get online and that's all I would do is complain. But I've tried to change my positive force and et cetera and all this other kind of good stuff, and speaking the positive and feeling the positive and so forth. But some of these energies have been coming in out of the central galaxy, the central sun, if you will, of this particular galaxy, has just been whacking the bejeebers out of us. Let me tell you. And there are a lot of people who've been having headaches, um, and there are folks. Let's see, how do I put this? There are folks on channels that don't have anything to do with any type of ascension or transition or any of this kind of thing, but they're very much interested in the science of what's going on. And so these folks are being affected, headaches, backaches, neck aches. And I'm like, you know what? It's like, this sucks. I don't know how else to put it, quite frankly, but this sucks. And but I realize that it's necessary. I'm very grateful that I have the opportunity. If I mean, I've been knocked out for almost 3 days. I mean, like whacked out, knocked out. Like I can't even remember if I fed the chickens, kind of thing. Really strange. And it seems like it's stranger than normal. I mean, before when I get knocked out for a day or two, it's like, well, I kind of sort of remember like, oh crap, this is Thursday. I remember something about Tuesday. That's all. So it's like, okay, so what happened to Wednesday and today? Actually, um, I'm forcing myself to do this because it's like I do not want to get knocked out again. Blessings, all of y'all. Let's see, Ice Station, Mother News, and Breaking Dawn. Blessings to all of y'all. And so one of the things is I was just bound and determined I got to lick this headache. I've been down for 2 days with it's almost let's see, those really nasty headaches. I can't think of the name of them now, but the neck aches, the other pain, and it's like for some reason things have just turned up, and it's like, all right, cut this mess out. So, but anyway, so I wanted to get on here and discuss this about dream walking. And now it depends on what, yeah, I'm done complaining for the moment at least. But I realize that there are people all over the place, all different kinds of channels from science to empaths and spiritual advisors, leaders, or whatever. And everybody's having very similar type of symptoms. So that's basically what I'm reporting on, but it's really hit me hard for some particular reason. Now, and I bring this up because I'm sort of like getting some downloads here while I'm having this discussion with you. I made a couple of videos, one on Facebook and also I think on YouTube. I'll have to check, my memory is a little wiped right now, but it had to do with these crazy folks who are doing sorcery and witchcraft and so forth, and casting spells and curses and so forth on people, on so forth. And I feel like there's been a little bit of retribution in the spiritual realm, if you will, because I spoke out about against it. And it's like, well, that's just tough. But also, I check the Schumann residence on a regular basis every day, and it's really been getting wacky. Okay, so we're getting in it right now. We're in a lull, by the way, but over the last week or so, we've had some literally off the chart spikes on the Schumann resonance. In fact, in the last 24 hours, we've had some huge spikes. Right now, it's fairly calm at the moment. The magnetic energy and stuff coming out of the galaxy is like way up there, and it's affecting everybody in all realms, whether they understand what's going on or not. Okay, now if you're in a high area where there are a lot of electrical lines and transmission lines and so forth, you're probably getting whacked even harder or worse or whatever. So blessings to all of you, and to try to find some way to ground yourself, please. Okay, now I have mentioned in previous, it's been 6 months ago, but in how to ground yourself. And there's something that has come to me in several vision type things, if you will. It's basically a picture with some information in behind it, if you will. And it's the sign of man. It's the circle with the guy standing in there with his arms out and then off to this side. And I've been shown that picture several times in my dream walking, with having my hands or the hands of the character up and with the feet spread. And that this is sort of an update to grounding. And by doing your palms up and doing, it's almost like a Y. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, actually, it would be almost like an X, okay, with your arms out and your legs out. But with palms up, there's so much energy coming in right now that if you allow yourself to feel the grounding with your feet, you should do this barefoot, by the way, in the grass or not on pavement, okay? But that to receive the energy with both palms. And I was telling folks that the left hand, yeah, this is my left, even though it might show up as the right on the screen anyway. But put left hand down and right hand up. And I got updated information that says both hands should be up, but both feet should be spread apart, and you're create an arc type thing. I'm not quite sure how that. It's just a picture in my head, but it's been coming over and over and over. And it is an update to what I said about grounding yourself with one hand and the other hand up. So this is like new news. Okay. All right. So that's if you wish to try it and need to receive more energy or ground yourself. This is supposed to be a better technique, and it has to do with the amount of energies coming through the universe right now. Okay, so there's that. I haven't had the strength the last 2 days to go out and stand in the yard long enough to be able to do it. I mean, whatever is going on is really, really wacky. And I see y'all typing over there, but if I go over there and start reading your stuff, I won't be able to get this out. So as per usual, I'm just going to go ahead and continue on with the dream walking, okay? Because I've been trying to get this out for the last 2 weeks, and here I am 2 weeks later, and it's like, and where I've been has a lot to do with dream walking. So here we go. Now, prolonged amounts of sleep, and with all the head injuries and so forth that I've had over the years, and I think that sometimes my brain is, well, in fact, I know my brain is still healing. And the only way that the brain can heal is in sleep mode. It can't heal when it's awake. It just simply cannot. I've done a lot of quartz. I see you in there. I think just came on. Blessings to you. I'm going to reiterate. I'm not going to read your post because I don't want to get off topic. So in dream walking, in the many years of having been in minor comas, if you will, because of the head trauma that I've had, there's been a lot of dream walking. And so what I've been trying to explain to folks, and I will try to do my best and stay on topic with this, is that when you're dream walking, you need to pay attention to whether or not you can affect the dream. So, in other words, you're walking around, it's daylight or whatever, blah, 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 and maybe you're out, by a pond or a lake. Excuse me, I keep getting this reoccurring dream in my head that I'm in a park with a mate, a spouse, girlfriend, something with a child running around, and it's like this keeps coming back to me. And it seems like to me now that this is a parallel universe because I slip over into this other world. It's completely different. It's completely different to the world in which I'm living now. It's sunshiny, and I've been to this park or place several times, and every time I go back, the blanket's in a different spot. We do have like a favorite tree to sit near, but there have been times when we've been away from the tree and out in the sun more often. We've been in short sleeves, we've been in long sleeves. My shirt colors have changed. So I know through observing my dream whether or not it is the same reoccurring dream, or whether or not it's in my dream state, but in actuality, it is a different place, that I'm dream walking into this other reality. And I say that because I've been having this dream now for almost a year. And as soon as I started talking about time splits, time shifts, as soon as I started, opening up and discussing it openly to other people online, so to speak, about how there are phase changes going on, and a lot of us are feeling it. And I think it's one of the things that have been happening the last few days. It's not just that I'm in a dream state; something seems out of phase. I mean, it's this reality, non-reality. Like to walk outside, and feed my cats, and 1 minute the sun's up and everything's, I know the weather changes, but to the point is like, then all of a sudden I walk out the same door, which seems to me in my time a couple of hours, and now it's overcast and dreary, the temperature's low, and fall has set in, which is good, for me anyway, because the heat's just been horrible on some of us old timers here recently. But anyway, but in my dream walking, I look at this and I go, wait, I know this is my reality because the cats have been scratching at the window, trying to wake my ass up, feed me, see more, And so it's like, all right, here we go. But at the same time, it seems like something's out of phase. I can't explain it, don't know what it is, but it's not it's not the normal for me being in a sleep state, waking up and going, oh, looky here kind of thing. Okay. So that's me personally. I'm stating this in case anybody else has kind of felt this weird kind of it's here, but it doesn't seem like the real here. I look out the same window and it's like my truck's parked in the same place and everything, but it just doesn't seem like it's correct. I went outside and touched my truck and looked around and went, something seems different. And I went to the store last night and came back. And so I looked outside today and it's like, I know I parked the truck in a different place. It was really close to where it was before I went to the store, but that's not the point. It's that when I noticed it, even when I went outside and laid my hands on the truck when I fed the cats earlier, it seemed out of phase. It just didn't seem like it was in the same reality. Okay. All right. Let's go back into dream walking. And I'm saying that because in the dream walks, I put a note in my head, which is kind of like there all the time now. And I've spoken about this before, and this is important. If you wish to dream walk, if you wish to astral project, you must say so out loud and tell your subconscious. It's very important. And the law of three is very important in that. Keep your statement very short. I wish to, you could say, first off, I wish to remember my dream. I wish to remember my dreams. I wish to remember my dream. And before you go to sleep, okay? So you say this out loud to yourself. The next phase would be, I wish to interact in my dream. I wish to interact in my dream. I wish to interact in my dreams. Boom. So you put it and say it. It's important you say it out loud. You must hear this in your head. Words are vibrations, they're spells, they're however you want to look at it, but there is energy, there's quote earth magic in speaking of it, especially when you speak it with a positive input. So you're telling yourself in a positive way, I wish to remember my dreams. I wish to remember my dreams. I wish to remember my dreams. 3 times. Change of voice is always nice because then it doesn't, your brain hears it 3 different ways and it really pays attention to it. All right. So first off, so you want to control the dream versus creating a dream. All right. So what do? Tell yourself before you go to sleep or before you go into that state, I wish to remember this. I wish to interact in my dream. I wish to formulate whatever, however you wish to put it, up to you. But keep it simple. Keep it one line. You don't want a lot of instruction with this because with the instructions that you give yourself verbally, there's a lot of intent in there. Your brain understands what you mean by this. So you're just giving yourself, it's sort of like a line of code in a computer. When you get to this spot, you're going to run this line, and then everything else is in a subroutine. But when the computer hears this or sees this line, it runs this subroutine and it knows exactly what to do. It doesn't have to go, wait a minute, let me think about this. One line of code, and it remembers like paragraphs of stuff or pages of code. Okay. The brain is the same way. So you have to look at it as when you are speaking to yourself into the subconscious, you are entering code into your subconscious, into your brain, like you're typing on into a keyboard. Okay. It's very, 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 very similar. Okay. Now, and because we are always attached, whether we understand we are or not, to the galactic quantum computer. And it's interesting, there are a lot of computer scientists now, since the quantum computer was developed, that they are saying that quantum, or it's instantaneous and will cross dimensions, time, and space. Okay. So these quantum computers are connecting to things in other dimensions. And the guys that created this, there's all kinds of stuff out there about it. Excuse me, coffee break. Blessings to you all, by the way. I hope you all are doing well. I see somebody else came in. Inspirational touch, I think. Blessings to you as well. So continued on with this. So now you've keyboarded the information that you wish in there. Now I've been going through this. I mean, I learned this technique starting in 1969. Okay. And it has never failed me. Now my head injuries have retarded my ability to do some of the things, but my brain still does it. Okay. But anyway, that's another subject. For normal brains. Now, I spoke about this before, but it's important that if you wish to dream walk, that's one thing. If you wish to affect your dreams, that's another thing. In other words, when you're dream walking, is it the same dream? Or say you first you're remembering your dream. So you wake up in the morning, and it's always nice to have a little pad of paper. Or I use these, I don't have one right now. My little binder books, they're $1 at the dollar store, and they come in different colors. So I have different subjects and everything. So anyway, I just bought 2 more last night at the store so I could start writing more things down. I've almost filled up 2 of these composition books. So what you need to do is protect yourself. And once you get the hang of it, and maybe you already know it, and for those of you who don't, you could sage yourself before you go to bed. You can do a cleansing. There's all types of things you can do to protect yourself. I use different crystals, black tourmaline. I mined some out of North Georgia many years ago, and I still have many pieces around my house, and I recharge them In fact, they need a good charging right now, by the way. Uh, mental note, recharge some. Um, but black tourmaline is really good. It's a horrible gem for wearing because it's so brittle. Just saying. It doesn't if somebody gives you a polished piece of black tourmaline, I would suspect it highly because black tourmaline is very brittle and very fragile in that. And when you try to polish it, whole pieces of it will flake off. If somebody tries to give you a tumbled piece of black tourmaline, it's not black tourmaline. You need to have it in its original form. Maybe I should do a video on some of the rocks that I have around here. Anyway, so black tourmaline is really good because you can help ward off things. Now, one thing that it's something that I forgot, but when you look at the different supernatural shows, movies, stuff like that, what kills a vampire? Silver. Okay. And I would venture to say that I have studied over the years what gold does. And gold can absorb some negatives that are very difficult to get out of. Gold pendants, gold rings. I mean, gold is like, nah, don't want it. Silver, on the other hand, is clean. It helps the body. There's something about it, spiritually wise, silver works really well, in my opinion. It also, wards off vampires and other things. Parasites. Why does colloidal silver work? It's because it's fighting those nasty parasites, vampires in our system. So silver, okay. A silver pendant with maybe a particular crystal or a setting or something. That has to do with, for example, amethyst, the purple amethyst. That's good. You want to meditate with purple amethyst, you want to dream walk, use purple amethyst. Make sure it's clear. Soak it in some sea salt. A lot of people use different things. Well, if I just put it out in the sun, or if I just put it out in the moon, that's not necessarily enough. Sea salt, because of its properties and because salt has that crystalline kind of vibrational thing going for it, along with crystals, the best way to cleanse your crystals is with sea salt. Put 3 or 4 tablespoons, or use a lot of it. Shake it up in some good, I would use distilled water. Now, if you've got a good source of country water like me, that's fine, because there are a lot of other minerals in there. The best way to heal crystals is to wash them in sea salt. Yeah, okay, put them out in the sun or the moonlight, but to cleanse them really well, spiritually and otherwise, the salt will draw this stuff out of these crystals and clean them. I mean, physically clean them. It's a really good thing. So protect yourself before you go into these states. Now, you should protect yourself before you go to sleep. It's like, now I lay me down to sleep. No, sort of. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. Wait, hang on. I always thought that was a creepy prayer. So protect yourself. Now you started to do a mantra 3 times. I want to remember. Next thing, I want to interfere with my dreams. I want to interact with my dreams. Okay. Next phase. Now, I explain to folks, and this is a simple technique. Pick a room in your house. Turn the lights on, go into the room and look around the room. Check it out, do details. Go back into another room. I say like the living room, whatever it is. And then go back into your bedroom, lie down, and go into a meditative state. And try to see that same room in your brain. All the while you're in the room, I wish to remember what's in this room. I wish to remember what's in this room. I wish to remember what's in this room, and go back in. Okay. Put yourself in a meditative state and then try to revisit there. Walk there, walk down the hall, do all the physical things till you get the hang of it. Go into the room in your mind. project your mind, yes, this is like looking glass. This is like, oh, I can't think of it. The remote viewing. This is it. Okay. So, but practice in your own house. Practice on something that you know. Then go when you go remote view your living room or whatever room you've been in, and look at it from a point of view is I'm a stranger walking into this house and I'm noticing things. Okay, when you do that, it'll stimulate a particular part of the brain. Okay, it homes in the vibration. Okay, all that good stuff. There are some folks that say, well, would you use relaxing music or something? Maybe to get yourself relaxed, but I would suggest you turn music off and that, it's the house is quiet or whatever. It's hard to do with kids running around, okay. So this does require a certain amount of tranquility, if you will. So once you get the hang of this, and you'll notice it's like, oh, holy crap, I can see the room in my mind. All right. So now you are into, quote, the remote viewing. But what is remote viewing? Remote viewing is traveling in the dream state in the astral. That's what it is. This is the fourth dimension, fifth. Okay. It's this area in here. Okay. And because these timelines and everything that have been melding, molding, rearranging themselves, as more people wake up, we are starting to manifest a different timeline because we're awake, because we're aware of these things. And that is helping with this transition. So the more of us who are aware of this, the more of us who start to dream walk and paying attention. It's like, well, wait a minute now. First thing you do before your eyes are even open, hardly. I have used recording devices before because it's easier for me to like keep my eyes closed and hit the recording button. I can't find it with a little digital thingy, it recorded like hours. I don't have a cell phone, but there's a cell phone thing you could do and just hit record. All right. And go, okay, I had this dream and close your eyes. Because while you're writing, sometimes I literally lose the vision of where I just came out of the dream walk. So a recorded device sometimes is very helpful. So you can use your phone, hit the thing with one eye open, keep your eyes closed so that your brain will try to stay in that phase. But the more your eyes are open to it, then the other senses take over and it shuts down the communication between the conscious and the subconscious. Okay. So you lose the dream state. So try to just, even if it's a couple of words to help you recall what it was, because during your day or maybe 10 minutes later, you're drinking coffee and you go, you know what? When I first got out of bed, I remembered that dream and now I can't remember what the hell that thing was. I know I had it. I know I sat on the edge of the bed and recalled it, but I can't recall what it is now. And that's happened to me so many times. It's like, son of a bitch, I wanted to remember that one, And so when you wake up, you can tell yourself, remember the dream I just had. Remember the dream. So there are a lot of things that we do, but saying it, the frequency with which we say it, and all of that vibrational stuff is real. So use it to your advantage. Don't think of it as, oh, well, this is just hogwash. Please pay attention. The value of 3, okay, and saying it out loud. I can't stress this enough. All right, moving on. So now that we've got some basic things down, now you say, well, okay, how can I expand this dream walk? All right, well, some would call this remote viewing. It can be the same thing. However, you got to get to these particular basics, in my humble opinion, in order to remote view properly. Because if you don't know how to get to this state, and if you're not sure of what you're seeing, for example, practicing going into the next room, for example, then you go outside and, you expand your parameters. As you expand your parameters, you will realize that, OMG, I'm like 95% right with everything. I looked at my own room. I remote viewed something that I'm aware of, something that I can physically walk to and check my statistics, inside. Well, I got this right and I saw that. Okay. So other folks who are like remote viewing Hitler or something, and I go, yeah, okay. Sorry, y'all. I just got it. It's very interesting, but you can't prove shit to me. Just saying. But people who practice remote viewing in their own house, who get things correct, who say, well, now I remote viewed this and this is blah. Okay. Everything else is just subjective. All right. Um, when I talk about my angel messages, this is part of the astral. This is part of the quantum. This is part of source. It's all connected. So the more that you can tune yourself into the quantum reality, which is on all the time, it's always there. There are people who discuss the Akashic records. Okay, fine. Let me just explain something. If you go to a library in upstate New York, just picking a spot for no particular reason, and you pick one from down here in South Georgia, I guarantee the things that are in that library are going to be different. Just saying. Will they have some of the same books? Yes. But Southerners have different tastes than upstate New Yorkers do. Just saying. So the library is going to contain more things that Southerners or Northerners or folks on the East Coast versus folks on the West Coast. Man, if you've ever been to the West Coast and lived, like I've lived on the East Coast all my life, right? Been to the West Coast and looked around, I'm like, I can't believe these people think this way. It's a different reality. They really don't think the same way as those folks on the East Coast. Don't know what it is. Like the folks in Missouri and Arkansas and the Ozarks, those folks, they're in the middle of the two. And consequently, it seems like they've got a little bit of both worlds. They're on the opposite side of the Mississippi. But anyway, whatever it is, there is a different reality to it. And if you traveled around enough, you'll notice that north, south, east, west. I mean, I was in South Dakota and I walked into a truck stop thinking, hey, I'm, South Georgia. Do you have any sweet tea? Any iced tea? So the lady brings me a cup of hot water with one of those little thingies. She brings me a glass of ice, the sugar bowl, and a tea bag. And all the guys at the truck stop in South Dakota were like, y'all ain't from, they don't say y'all up there, but it's like, you ain't from around here, are you? It was like, well, I just wanted iced tea, some cold iced tea. Well, I had to make my own. It was very humorous, but to the point where a few hours earlier, we were in Missouri and the sweet tea was so sweet, you could walk on it. Just saying. So people in different areas of the country have different realities, have different customs, and their timelines are different from us. It is what it is. So dream walking in their world, they may not have sweet tea. Where if you get a northerner to come down here and the waitress comes up and says, y'all want some sweet tea? The folks from up north are going to go, what's this bimbo talking about? When actually she's a very nice lady and wishing, so cultures are different, but the thinking. So with that, I'm saying that when you go to this astral plane, there are differences. Why do we need to have this transition? Why do we need to learn the basics? Because it's a little weird out there. If you've ever traveled around just the United States, I mean, even within the state of Georgia, South Georgia is totally different than North Georgia. They're rednecks in both places, but it ain't the same, And folks around Atlanta, well, they're just totally different from any other part of the state. So it's like, all right, so you got to understand that these things exist out there. So the practice in circumstances that are relative to you that you can check. Now, astral projecting, you want to physically walk to this location. The next step then is, as you are become comfortable, I'll say, with remote viewing, what does that other room look like? The next step is to walk into the next room. The next step is to go there physically. Try to feel with your brain. The first one is to let's go out and look at it. What do I see? What do I perceive? What are the key features that I see? And etc. The next thing then is to walk there physically in your astral body, but you're okay, I'm going to get up out of the bed. You're still laying there, but now you're going to imagine yourself getting up out of the bed, walking physically down the hall. This puts you into a spirit form. All right. Now, is this necessary? There are some, and I'm a little hedgy on this myself. It gives you, when you practice doing the physical thing, it allows you to, if you do it correctly, it allows you to open up your awareness more. Like I can feel myself standing on something, or I can feel the wind blowing in the room, or it's cold, or it's hot, or something. It's damp, whatever. Okay. But if you just go there with your brain, you're going to see something, but not necessarily feel your surroundings. So that next thing is to, all right, now I'm sending my human self out there, and I'm going to use myself as a microphone on all levels. The first one, you're remote viewing, you're just taking a picture. You're just going out there with your little viewfinder thingy, and that's that. The next step now is to turn your body into a microphone of all energies, so that when you go with your brain to see where it is, now you're saying, okay, what does the room feel like? Can I taste anything? Well, see, now those are things that we associate with this 3D physical body. So the practice is that you practice imagining your physical body there so that you can pick it up. All right. You're still laying in your bed or your meditation spot or whatever it is, but you're sending yourself out there now to actively participate in this field, in this astral plane. Okay. I'm hoping that this makes sense. And these are the steps to get there. You don't want to try to, okay, let me jump into the room and feel everything, because you're not going to have a good sense. Well, am I feeling it correctly? So these baby steps are to make sure in your own head that the information you're seeing, smelling, feeling, etc. is real and not a planted thought, or not something that you wandered into, a quantum field, seriously, to where you're picking up somebody else's stuff. Okay. You got to make sure that it's yours. All right. So some people say, well, Dave, Hawkeye, look, this just sounds like a bunch of trash. And it sounds like, I got to go through all these steps. Baby steps are great. They really are. As a machinist, they teach you how to drill holes first. They teach you about the speed. They teach you about sizes of drill bits and things. They don't shove you over there building a car engine before you could drill a hole. No, they teach you off slowly. But then as you get adept at things, other things start to come naturally to you. So these baby steps will help encourage higher energy, and it will increase your potential, let's say, your accuracy. Okay. So, and that's important. You want to be accurate. You don't want to just go out there and say, well, I went to the Akashic Record. Yeah, but what library did you go to? I mean, seriously, which branch? Well, this branch, because, people are reading Akashic. Well, I read this and I'm getting this information and this is what it's about. And then other people are going, nah, that's not it, but I got this. And people are arguing about this. And we need to stop this, because all of us need to go through this transition, and we all need to go to the main library. Just saying. Some of us have just went to the branch libraries. The information's good, but not as good as the main library. That's what's going to be happening soon. We're all going to be attached to the main library. That's going to be like groovy. But we got to make sure that we've got these baby steps in. So, dream walking. Can you walk between worlds? Well, a lot of people say absolutely. So, in my previous earlier on, when I was saying that in this one particular dream walk that I've been involved with, um, it has to do with the fact that it's the same similar park, it's the pond, it's location, but it's different times of day. There are different settings. So in that, I can say to myself, Dave, that's dream walking, because there are other dreams that I have. It's the same dream. The people are in the same place. Their shirts are the same color. The situation is the same. So, with your practice, with what you're doing, you wish to establish within your own parameters and your own paradigm, this must be true. Because I went into the other room and I saw this, 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 and this. One thing, oh, let me bring in the clock. I put a clock in the room you wish to go in. It's important that you go and look at the clock. Why? It's because you can have a timestamp for your computer. This one. Put a digital clock somewhere. It's easier to read, but a regular clock will work, with a face on it. All right. Now, I practiced on an old alarm clock years ago, and I did a video about this a couple of months ago. But it's very important because when you go to where you're going and you find a clock, you can put a digital timestamp in where you have been. And when you bring yourself back and wake up and come out of your dream walk, then you can say, son of a bitch, and you can look at your own clock and go, that was a minute ago. I was wherever I was. And when I look at my clock in my room, that was just a minute ago versus yesterday or 12 a.m. or whatever the time is on the clock. So you can hone your skills. And by doing so, put a clock in the picture. I've also stated you can, a good way to practice the being aware is to practice telling time without a watch, without a clock. Because somewhere, and I use a clock, this clock behind me in the house. If I'm out somewhere, I just say, okay, what does my clock say? And I just close my eyes and I don't try to tell the time because I'll fail with that. But during the hurricane thing a week or two ago, or whatever, I forget. My digital clocks were off, and I only had one clock to go with because the electricity was off for 50 some hours. But when I was outside, I was like, I wonder what time it is. Close my eyes, do the thing, and then walk in the house a minute or two later, look at the clock and go, I was 3 minutes off. I was 5 minutes off. And I mean, I haven't looked at the clock in hours, and I literally have no idea what time it is. Okay. So, but when you can confirm that it is that time, and you can see it in your remote viewing, in your astral walk, wherever it is. So always try to look for a clock wherever you're at. If you're outside and trying to, that's a little difficult, obviously. But now as a practice for your own person and staying in tune to the quantum, just put yourself in, I've got Dave's time. And then here in a couple of weeks, the time's going to come back to Dave's time. I refuse to set my clocks fast back in the spring, so I don't have to fall back. My time is my time. It's an hour off. But to the point, though, when I look at my clock in my mind's eye, it's on Eastern Standard Time. I didn't move my clock forward. So if I look at the clock and it says a different time, and I walk in the house and it's an hour off, I must have been someplace else. I was in an hour off time zone. I know that's confusing. Anyway. But to the point, though, there are a lot of people who are creating their own. I look younger than I did last week. It's the lighting. Oh, my God. The bags under my eyes. I didn't even want to come do a video tonight because I looked in the mirror before I started and went, you're going to look like shit. You do look like shit. But to the point, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I caught that over there. I'm trying not to read there. Um, oh, Rick and Delaney. Yes. Hi, hi, hi. um, but see, I've discussed this quantum healing as well. So it's like in my dream walking of the last. Well, I'm dream walking all the time, actually. But I look around at my surroundings when I'm there. And then when I get back, I'm like, okay, as soon as I can recall it, where was that place? What was that thing? Maybe I need to write a note down, or maybe I do a little recording, or sometimes I'll get on in the middle of the night, do a freaking YouTube video. But to the point, though, it's like, all right, so let's discuss this. Let's put this on the list. Let's write something down that will help trigger that memory, because that download or whatever I got out there in the quantum was important for me. It was important because I'm trying to have this discussion with everyone. All right. So in this quantum library, and I just want to say people are getting all kinds of information. And I just simply wish to say, warning, buyer beware. It's that because we may be at a different branch library. It may be that the information in the library where we're at has been screwed with. Okay. So, and we should not argue over the finer points. It doesn't matter at this particular point. So I've noticed that there's still a lot of arguing going on with some of these people. But at the same point, I see some of the folks who've been arguing realize, oh crap, we got caught up in the chaos. Mm-hmm. Even the aware people are like, wait a minute, no, you're doing it wrong. And they got caught up in the chaos. It's caught me a time or two. But to the point, though, it's difficult for us not to get caught up in this chaos. That's part of our training with this. That's why we need these baby steps. The baby steps are only so that we can be positive with what we are doing, so that we can be accurate in our discernment of the information that we're getting. Okay. And it will wake you up in ways that you go, well, that sounds silly, but it will wake you up in ways. Now, let me bring something else into this dream walking into the astral plane, because one of the things that is very important is awareness of your surroundings. Now, as a Native American shaman person who has walked the red road, one of the things that was taught to me, and the Hindus do it as well now, and I'm sorry, the Buddhists, well, and the Hindus too, but Western religions, they don't touch on it really. The Catholics and the Christians, we have dominion over the earth, and that means we can dig and pollute and do whatever. If you go with any indigenous race, and I've spoke about this before, it's that what we need to do is be aware of all of our surroundings. Now, one of the things is to go outside, pick a nature spot, or if you can't, and okay, then do so in your house. But what you do is just close your eyes, and you're not really trying to remote view. It's that you're just trying to be aware on the quantum level. Try to just see yourself sitting in the room, a meditative state, laying down, whatever it is. Just try to feel what's in the room. For example, I'm sitting here and I know the windows are over there looking south, and I know there's things over there, the windows. So rather than try to look at them or imagine them, I try to feel what that plant, and the plant's telling me, water me, bitch. But, that's another story. But to the point, though, I allow my feelings, I allow my aura, I allow my aura to expand in my area, to pick up so I can feel these things, not just look at them or hear them or smell, but I can feel them. And I brought this up before, and it has to do with blind people. And I studied with a gentleman years ago. His name was Larry. I think he's still alive. He was a couple of years younger than me, so he should be in his late 50s or maybe early 60s. But anyway, Larry Guyton is his name, and he was microcephalic, meaning that his head was real small, and versus the macrocephalic, which is, they have to put a shunt in. There's water on the brain. So microcephalic, cephalic, that's how they pronounce it back then. Microcephaly. But anyway, it's like the skull's too small for the brain. It just squeezes things. But anyway, but he's blind. And so I used to do different tests and say, Larry, how can you get across this big room? Sometimes there's chairs in there. Sometimes we set the tables up for lunch. Sometimes there's not. And you have to cross this big room, which was like 20 by 20 at least, maybe bigger. It probably was. But anyway, to get to the bathroom. How do you know that there aren't tables there? And he said, Mr. No, I can feel them. Now, he's in the kindest words, he was retarded in his thinking because he couldn't express himself as to what feeling meant. And now, after all these years, I realize Larry, even in his microcephalic personage, could feel this energy field. He could tell by pushing his energy out, and you could see him with his toes. And I used to joke with him, and I love this man, so it's not like I was picking on him. And I said, Larry, you got your radar shoes on again? And he's like, oh, yes, Mr. No, yes. Because I'd say, I would just know. That was my cue to him, for example, that there were tables in the room or on his way to the bathroom. My word to him was radar shoes, and he knew that there may be something in his way. So it was sort of jokey, ha, 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 but he understood it. But to the point, though, the way he moved his hands and his feet and the way he turned his head from side to side, he was echolocating. He knew where these tables were. And I did experiments where I'd set something up and I'd say, Larry, be careful, put your radar shoes on. Now, do you know how to get to the bathroom from here, from the top of the stairs? And he would do his little thing, and sometimes he would bump into something and sometimes he wouldn't. But mostly he didn't. And how in the hell, when you're blind, do you see something that's because the room changed all the time? Okay. So anyway, it's like rearranging the house for Helen Keller. How do you piss off Helen Keller? Rearrange the furniture, but, bad joke. But to the point, though, I did some of those types of experiments with his knowledge. It wasn't a practical joke. It was like, Larry, okay, here's the room. Do your thing, but be careful. And I would never allow himself to be hurt. Okay. So just saying. Now, this was in 1976, all them years ago. And I have been practicing, learning, teaching these ways to see things with your eyes closed. Now, that's allowing yourself to see in the quantum. Some people, the third eye, pineal. Yeah, okay. Just allow your spirit to do it. All right. We can go into technical terms. You can study all that crap if you want to, but here, just know it's coming from in here. That's all you really need to know. It's coming from your aura. And when you allow yourself to be aware of all of your surroundings. And so here was the trick as a shaman. All right, Hawkeye, you're going to sit here in this small field. Trees are there and blah, blah, blah. You go out here and I want you to meditate. Now, but I want you to look at where you are first. Just, glance at the ground. There's some rocks over there. Maybe you're at the beach, whatever the location. Most of the times I was in the mountains or way out in the country. So we're looking at things and it's like, okay, so there's grass. Now, this one particular shaman said, can you hear the ants walking in the grass? What? He said, can you hear the ants walking in the grass? Now, now part of me is the satirical asshole, is like, who wants to hear the ants walking? But that was, the other part of me, because I knew I was there to study and to learn what this master was trying to teach me. He said, are you even aware that there are ants walking? Well, okay. We hear the birds chirping. We hear the wind in the trees. We are aware of certain things. But are we ever aware of the things on the micro level? The fact that if you take a 1 square foot of dirt or field, there are spiders, if you stop and look, there are tiny plants that never get any bigger than this. In fact, down here in South Georgia, there is a carnivorous plant. It's so tiny. It's this big. I mean, the tallest ones, the big ones are like this big. That's as big as they get. And they catch small insects down up underneath the grass, under taller grass and in weeds and things. It's amazing. So what this shaman was trying to teach me was awareness of all things. Can you hear the rock next to you? What? The rocks, if you are aware, some of them will hum at different frequencies, just like a crystal does. There are crystalline structures in all kinds of things. I mean, even in granite and so forth, there are some types of silicas. Okay. But to the point, everything will vibrate. I mean, even wood vibrates. I've talked about trees and that kind of thing. Okay. So, but here's the deal. You must allow yourself to expand your awareness, which is like expanding your aura, to feel what is around you. And now don't try to pick the whole damn field at the beginning. Pick a spot. But the thing is that when you close your eyes and do your meditation, it's like, okay, what do I feel? Okay, so I'm facing forward. So I'm going to cut myself into quadrants. Okay, the plane down the middle, this is the first, second, forward. Now behind me, that's the third and the fourth quadrant, just so you can identify where do I hear or feel something. Okay, so what the practice is, start at a quadrant. Maybe there's something that's like over your right shoulder or something, and you're being pulled to it or something like that. Okay, so allow yourself to see it, feel its vibration. Then the practice comes in. Okay, did I see it when I walked into the field? Did I see that rock or whatever it is before I sat down? My brain, our brains, as we walk, we pick up, there's so much information that when we are quiet and allow ourselves to expand our awareness, the brain will say, you know what? A foot to the right of you in the upper right-hand quadrant forward, there's a beetle munching on something, or he's digging a hole. And you open your eyes and you look over there, and sure enough, there's a damn beetle munching. Okay. And you say, well, this is horse shit. This is stupid. No, it's not. Because it will allow you to hear, see, and feel all those things. Because when we transition into this next realm, we're going to be bombarded with these things. So if we can even begin to understand that they exist at all, period, that a lot of people are going to have the difficulty of saying, oh my God, a rock has a conscience. Oh my God, Mother Earth is alive. Not just, no, she's conscious. Oh my God. A lot of people are going to freak out at that kind of thing. But as a shaman of the natural, the more that you become aware of the micro things, just where you sit. I mean, even on the floor here. I mean, I vacuumed the floor a couple of days ago, and I noticed, I was like, I don't know where I've been, but there's dirt on the floor again. I must have tracked in some dirt. Well, that's number one. where the hell did all this dust come from on the floor? Number two is like, oh, some ants made a trail. And number three, there must have been a crumb of something on the floor because they're having a damn ball. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I don't even remember anything that fell on the floor over there. Nonetheless, that there are these little teeny tiny little smaller ants than the little black ant. I mean, they're unbelievably small, have come through a crack in the floor. And they're like, taking that whatever it was away and eating it. And so even in my own environment, sitting right here looking around, I'm like, holy crap. Of course, now I've been knocked out for 2 days, but, more or less. I did go to the store yesterday. That's a curious thing. I remember it, but yesterday seems like it's been 2 days. I know it was yesterday because I did this, and this, and I got fresh milk. Oh, by the way, we're still out of cheese down here. There are some of these stores down here after the hurricane still don't have any butter, any dairy products, all the frozen things and everything that were all stocked, and pizzas, you name it. There's nothing in the freezers down here. Nothing. I wanted a pack of cheese for grilled cheese. I ended up having to get a can of the squirt cheese, which I never buy. And by the way, it ain't that bad, but to the point though, it's like, son of a bitch, I've been out of cheese for 2 weeks, Anyway, but our awareness. So I invite folks, seriously, I keep saying this, go outside, but really, inside there's so many man-made things that it doesn't work as well. Just saying. Now you can do it in the house, and it's advisable. Pick your meditation spot or whatever, or even if it's just your bedroom, pick a time of day or whatever where it's as quiet as possible, etc. And practice these things. Feel what's in your room. I mean, you might feel that you don't know what it is, but there's something over here. There's something over to the right. Maybe it's, due what would be due west of me. But, and you say, I feel something over there, but I don't know what it is. Then wake up and go look. Maybe down in the corner of your room or whatever, a spider's made a thing along the baseboards. You have no idea. But everything is a vibration. And spiders, when they're working on their web, create a vibration that's really cool. And it is a song. And if you can ever pick them up, it's a really neat song. So just saying. And I've been terrified of spiders for a long time. There was a huge one went across the floor the other night about shit. I mean, it was like this big. The body was, it was one of them wolf spider kind of deals. Big ass some bitch. Anyway, so with this awareness, what does this awareness have to do with the dream walk or the, dream walking or astral projection? It's because when you're in that state, all of your senses are awake. You're using your projected aura. You're using yourself, your soul energy to expand and to see and to feel. So these little techniques, and by the way, it's really cool when you're sitting meditating in a little field or something, or next to a tree or whatever it is, and you hear or see something, and you look over, look down, or sometimes it's look up or whatever, and you notice something on the micro scale, and you go, son of a gun, did I hear it? Did I see it? Did I smell it? How did I know that spider web was there, or that beetle was munching on a grass or something? I mean, how'd you know? That's the interesting thing. That's the thing that's going to wake the rest of you up, because it's going to give you confidence. The first few times I did it, I was like, this is weird. But then as I began to practice and accept that it's real, you must accept that it exists and that it's important. Because how can you be an aware being if you're not aware? Oh, well, I use this thing and I walk out there. Yeah, but can you sit down in a field and hear the spider sing to you? Well, what's that got to do with it? A hell of a lot. Because you're not tuning into the universe. You're like focusing in an area, which is okay. All right. But it's not the same thing as being aware. The awareness of being. The awareness of being. One more time. The awareness of being. Being what? Of just being. I am a being. I am a spirit. I am a soul. I am an energy. I am a being. I am an is-be. Angel otherwise. I am a being. And I am a being who is being in this reality right now. I am a being a part of the quantum. I know this gets into this esoteric wordplay, but go there because it's important. We need to understand all these small things, and they're going to become huge things. The more I sat out in the field then I started realizing the things that were on a different level entirely, like listening to a spider web sing and know that there are vibrations there and knowing there's something there I can't see and I can't literally hear it, but my senses can feel it and thus translate it, and it's a song. But we need to go into the micro to hear it. Well, it doesn't really matter. No, because it's part of the whole. We need this practice. We need to sit down. We need these things because it makes the whole more aware. As I was speaking, I don't know, 20 minutes ago, about we need to become a microphone. When we go out into this astral world, and that's why I just went through this discussion of awareness. And that's where my practice came in. I practiced on a 3D level, which took me to the 4D level. When you close your eyes and you can hear and smell and feel and sometimes taste the environment around you in your meditation, especially when you are consciously seeking it and exploring it. And when you start getting that information back, it puts you on a different level of consciousness. It just does. And so that's like us. It's the kiddie pool. It's the wading section. It's the shallow end. But it takes you to the deeper end. It gives you information that's important. It really is. How can you be aware if you don't go try to be aware? I have a lot of folks and look, I love you all. Every single one of you, I do, whatever place you are on your path. But my job is to, put a little wrinkle in there and say, hey, are you focusing too much in this one particular area? And that's why I got to raise a flag to some folks and go, y'all pay attention. Are you over here all the time? And your focus is over there, and you're really not aware of these other things. It's great to focus. Yep, don't get me wrong. And the people who are doing these are doing them with good intentions. But at this moment in time in our paradigm and where we are in learning, should you be focusing only on that spot? Should you bring your awareness more into an open field, if you will, and say, well, there are a lot of things here. I don't see them. That's because you're not aware of them. So you have to be quiet. You have to be still and understand these things, because when we get to the deep end, folks are going to be freaking out because they've never heard crickets cricket in the daytime, or they, never heard spider webs sing, just saying. And so there's going to be this cacophony of energy, vibrations, sounds, feelings to the newbies. that it's going to freak their senses out. So that's why I'm doing this transition basics. If you do these basic things, then it won't come as quite a shock to you. It will become more of a, oh, no, oh, at least I understand where this is coming from. It's not a total shock. It's like going to the beach and, nobody telling you that there are waves. It's like, well, you've been to a lake, I'm not talking Lake Erie or the big Great Lakes, but, okay, so you've been fairly good sized lake, and the only waves you get is when a boat goes by. Okay, but when you go to the ocean, from up on the thing, it looks cool. It's like a big lake until you get down there, and there are 4-foot waves. So it's like, so this is what this transition training is about. You want to know that, well, I'm going to go play in the lake with the small waves and learn that there are waves. And then I'm going to go to the beach, and then I'm going to go into the surf into the big waves. Okay. And I hope you understand that I'm not trying to treat you like little children, but with what we are going to go through, we need to think of ourselves as really smart kids. We're still children because we will have a lot to learn, but we're not stupid. Okay. But at the same point, if our focus is only in one area, then you're going to have trouble trying to incorporate other things. It's important that we are like well-rounded. Shamanism, it's like you don't go looking for one thing, you go looking for all things and how all things relate together in the natural world, which is the quantum, which is this higher thinking, which is the higher realms. Do you realize that spiders, when they do their webs and they do this thing, they're actually causing a phase shift? They're causing time distortion. And there are studies that spiders will vibrate over here, in this part of the field, and over there in another part of the field. They're both doing the same, or almost simultaneously doing the same little spider dance. Oh, holy crap. I spoke about this before, but I went into it many years ago, and I started, because of my fear of spiders, I wanted to learn about them. And I realized that my fear of spiders was that they're creepy and when they sneak up on me. So I keep telling them, y'all stay in your place. Don't scare me. Stay out of my immediate area and everything's fine. I don't go hunting spiders anymore. But if they cross into my territory out of the periphery of my eye, they're squashed before I even know what happened. I mean, I have stepped on them and then went, oh, crap, man. I'm sorry. Because I have no right, simply because I'm scared, simply because I was creeped out. And I've gotten better, but that's not the point. It's part of my awareness training. All right. And even each of us might have a particular thing. So let me scan the skies for any more information on this about the astral projection thing. But the information I gave you about being in a room and then walking in, and put a picture and walk into the room, look at it, and then go back in and then do your meditation and then walk in with your mind. All right. There's flying in with your mind. Then there is the physical walking. Okay. And there are a lot of people who will argue with me on this point. Well, you don't have to physically feel yourself walking in there. It's a training. It's a training lesson. Okay. It's like cursive writing, which they're saying they're not even teaching in schools anymore. It's learning how to do an A, and then a little a, just saying. So, the minute things that we can learn in this 3D are going to turn into bigger things. It's going to open up bigger influx of information because we will have had the basic training, if you will. Okay. It's very important. All right. This is an important thing. Uh, I'm getting downloads as I speak to you right now. Yeah, I finally lit the cigarette, by the way. And I'm going to check what you said here in a second. And blessings to all of you. If you're in a dream walk, if you're in a dream and you're trying to manipulate the dream, if you're in an astral projection thing, it is important that you give yourself a safe word or phrase or thought or color. Okay. Same thing. Because you can get yourself into a situation to where you start to feel apprehensive, unsure, and then that turns to fear. Well, fear in the astral plane is like CO2 to mosquitoes, okay? Demons smell it. Ooh, fear. Ooh, 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 and off they go. Now, so if you're fearful of doing this, or if you find yourself in fear where you're at, calm yourself, number one, and go, wait a minute. This might be a really shitty circumstance that I need to watch, see, or whatever. So you need to keep yourself out of the panic mode. So you can set this self up. It's like self-hypnosis. In fact, it is. In that you program verbally, say, I don't know, say the word purple, green, or whatever is the safe word. You get, or color, or whatever, or energy, it could be leave now. It could be, help me, Jesus, or, whatever. Okay. Whatever you feel comfortable with in your self-preservation. But when you get to a fear point and you feel this fear, and if you do the practicing of, expanding your awareness of your aura out, then you will open yourself up more to these types of feelings that could put you in a panic mode because you don't understand what it is. It could be a demon type, nasty, bad energy that it really is there and trying to do something. But as long as you understand, I did my protection before I came. So your awareness of the protection that you carry with you. So it might be green, I'm protected. Green, I'm protected. You go away. Green, whatever, It could be sweet Jesus, or, Jesu Christos, or whatever. It doesn't matter. You pick the safe word, phrase, or picture, or color. But that should be the protection that you carry when you put yourself into the mode. So that you should know anywhere that you go, I am protected. I am protected everywhere I go. I am protected wherever I go. I am protected wherever I go. 3, keep that up. And with intent. And so the prayer is, I'm protected. There is a subroutine to that. I am protected because I did sage. I got my crystal. I'm connected to creator and to source. I have the protection of the angels around me. This is in the subroutine. But when you say the words, I am protected at all times, it means these other things. It's the subroutine of the program. You go through that, okay, I'm protected. What does my protection mantra mean? It means that I'm saved. Jesus is with me, or the Christ consciousness is there, or the Buddha, or whatever. The Great Spirit is walking with me, and my spirit guides are always there. Whatever it is, but that mantra, that's in the subroutine of this. Okay, so when you say I am protected at all times, it means all these other things. Set that up ahead of time. All right. Just do a protection. Like right now, as I'm talking to you, you can say, yes, you can say it with me kind of thing. Yes, I'm protected at all times. Yes, I have the power of the creator with me at all times. Yeah. And this is what it means when I say I am protected. So your subconscious already knows it. You've already established what you mean by that. So when you give the mantra or the line or the prayer, or you're actually casting a spell, if you will. But it basically boils down to it's, well, quantum energy, but it's also a type of hypnosis, self hypnosis, and meditation. It's a bunch of stuff all rolled up into one. But if you ever feel threatened wherever you are, pick a safe word like home. Home. I want to go home. But one word, home. And that just means I want to get back to my body. I went out of wherever I'm at and I wish to go home. It's like, okay, hit home. It's the home page. Okay. Think of it in computer terms, if you will. You wish to go back to the home page. Boom. I wish to go back to the body. Okay. And in your wherever you're at, you shouldn't have to repeat it. But, if you do the value of 3, then I wish to go home. I wish to go home. I wish to go home. Or just say home 3 times. Home. Because the rest of your brain knows what the subroutine is. Okay. It's important. But you got to program this stuff in your brain. Otherwise, there won't be a subroutine. It'll be like, well, he just said this stuff, but it don't mean shit to me. You got to give your protection. You got to give your protection. What is it? And that is what witchcraft or sorcery or whatever, those are the spells. What do you wish to accomplish? I wish to speak with this thing and this entity and blah, blah, blah. Okay. You're basically casting a spell to the universe. I seek protection. And this is how I'm going to get it. This is what I do. And I've got my safe word. Home. Home. Home, James. Home. Okay. So then you are protected. Even if you get into a situation where the last thing you wish to do is be in a creepy situation on the astral plane. Because, like I said, it's like barbecue. It's like barbecue. Somebody's barbecue, oh man, I want to go over and have a hamburger or whatever, ooh, they got spare ribs, but to the point, that's what these negative entities can smell. They can sense it. Okay. It's like barbecue. And we're really good to them. So, all right, let me take another hit off of this thing, put my glasses on. And at the moment, those are all of the current downloads for this particular iStation Z says, had my first sleepless night in decades in the last 2 days. Many wonderful souls and spirits drifting through, peaceful and loving. Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff going on. And, Zed, you bring up a point. There are some folks who have passed over to the other realm already. They've died. But to the one of the important things is, I think I had a friend of mine pass away within the last 10 days. I did a video, I think, about it, at least on Facebook. And I talked about my friend. One day she was there, and the next day they found her on the floor of her bedroom. No apparent reason. And I haven't heard an update on it. But to the point, though, some of these folks are going ahead. And I think the information that I've been getting is that some of these folks aren't going to be able to make the transition in their current state. So they're passing away in this life so that they can get the training they need in the next life. Just saying. How's it going after the storms? It's been weird. It's been really strange. Just saying. Electrical things and stuff, it's weird. And when I went to the store yesterday, I realized that the storm devastation was considerable around here. I mean, there's still piles of trees and stuff that have just been cleared to the edge of the road. I mean, they're all over the place, and there are some folks still without electricity, but it's only at their house. So it's just interesting. The storm did some crap load of damage. Millions of dollars worth of food was lost. And I'm just talking about in my area. And I don't know what the loss of food was overall for this area, but just for Colquitt County, I mean, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are about 7 um, Dollar General stores, for example. There's one in each of these small towns in my area. And every bit of their dairy, all their frozen goods, everything was wiped out. Every single store was wiped out. Um, and just in what they lost in that type of thing is just, I was just doing a quick tab in my head, and we lost millions of dollars worth of food from the storm, just from freezers. Um, I had a dream that I killed Freddy Quantum. Quartz Quantum says, I had a dream that I killed Freddy Krueger with a shotgun, and then some dude wanted to bring him back and do the same thing that didn't work out for him. So I ended up, I can't read what you wrote, Quartz. A Jodie Foster moment. Contact. Yeah, kind of, sort of, right? Exactly. You know what? I'm not sure if there is. Um, the question is, Quantum, is there such a thing as monotonic silver? And I would say yes, because anytime you break something down, it would be monatomic, whether it's gold, silver, quartz, because in the description of monatomic, tonic, um, I think of it as atoms. So you're looking at a mono atom, a single atom. Well, yeah, I think everything can be broken down to single atoms. So the more that that would be what colloidal silver is. You can put silver in a container and put a charge across it, and it will break down little silver particles. Isn't that what monatomic would be? I'm saying so my answer would be I think so. Now, they don't speak of it that way, but my guess, colloidal silver is exactly that. Okay. Um, you can make your own silver generator, get as pure silver as you can. You can buy silver wire a lot of times from a a jewelry store because they will use silver solder and things, but get the pure silver or as pure as you can get it. And there are lots of things online, and you can use a 12-volt battery. You can use you can tie two 6-volt batteries together to get 12 volts and produce enough voltage to bubble the solution, and it will take the the silver and it will separate it into the water, and then you drink the water. But anyway, there's a lot of stuff out there, and it's not real expensive. Um, the expense is the silver. Okay. Dave the righteous dude. Thank you, Rick and Delady. I might have looked old last week, Rick and Delaney. That really is kind of humorous, though, because I looked at the mirror earlier and I was like, I'm half blind too. I taught myself how to see in pitch black. Rick and Delaney, that is so important. I'm glad that you brought that up. Yep, you can tune your hearing to hear a mouse fart. That's absolutely true. And if you don't literally hear it, your aura will pick it up. And it's Rick and Delaney, you're one of the first people that I have spoke to or reacted with that have said, yes, I taught myself how to see in the dark. That oh boy, if you can teach yourself how to do that, it's it's an unbelievable awareness. Just saying. I go in my basement, close my eyes, I see 1,000 souls dancing, party at the crossroads. I wonder what. I hope it's the right crossroads. Just saying, Rick and Delaney. Watching spiders work are uh, I love you too. So in the astral, do you see yourself as a practice? One of the practices is to see yourself in the astral. So when you do the first, I'm going to send my remote viewing out. The next thing is to send the body out. And that's the training part of this. When you can see your astral self, and you could be naked, you could have clothes on. It depends on how you want to see yourself. But to the point, all you'll basically see is an outline, sort of a ghost image, if you will, and accept it. You don't try to put form in it, because that's you're stretching it there. So that's part of the training. Can I see myself? Can I see my hand? Can I see my arm? Can I look? One thing, I don't know why I look down. Can I see my feet? And I use that because it's like, well, if I can see my feet, then I can see the ground. And there's sort of a relationship there. I'm, attached to this realm or whatever it is. So the cosmic rays are busting hearts. Absolutely. The other day I was having chest pains, but now I've had bouts of pleurisy for years, and it's where an infection will get in between the muscle of the chest and the heart itself, and will become inflamed. And I've had issues with that for years. But to the point, it was like, oh my God, I was like, I know I'm getting old, but I haven't had any issues with, heart attacks or anything like that. Not that I can't have one, but to the point, I was like, son of a bitch, what the hell? And I was like, for a little bit there, I was concerned for my own well-being. But then I relaxed and said, wait a minute. I realized that we were getting bombarded with these energies, and this is happening. So, and there are other things on the rise too, Rick and Delaney. It's just very interesting that people are being more disoriented. I'm a prime example, but I say normal folks are having issues. Their brains are being scrambled. They're confused. They're having headaches. Okie dokie. My county got hot with black spot, tropical disease, crop shot. Cows and pigs suffered this year. Prices went up. Yes. And around here in South Georgia, the cotton got wiped out. They should be in full swing with cotton right now. And the cotton got destroyed in a lot of fields. It's just saying. I can't pronounce that. Hamaha is something that comes from a show called Dragon Ball. Oh, okay. My dream last night sure did not make any sense. I caught myself outside of the dream, questioning everything that was going on. Yes, and that's part of quartz. That is exactly part of the training. When we're in that dream world walking, we are looking at it. That's our participation. When you look at your dream and you're going, wait a minute now, something's going on. Something ain't right here in this situation. That's because your awareness is very high. Good for you. Yes, and Rick and Delaney, their brains are glitching out. Folks' brains are just, and that's part of what I've been talking about for a while now is, people are going bat crap cray. And which is interesting, I've been using this for over a year now, my little bat crap cray. And it's interesting. People are starting to say, people are going bat crap cray now. And I'm like, wait a minute. Did you listen to my video? I'm just saying, it's just humorous to me that I just think that I'm just listening to the quantum, and that other people, though, are just catching up with stuff that I've been using phrases and things. And it's like, that have been kind of being downloads to me. And I don't consider myself special in any way. That's not it. Other than I'm just aware. That's all. That's my crime. I'm aware. And the next other thing is that I try to use cosmic, you know, I use the Spock factor. Let me think about this with logical intelligence, and what does this information mean to me? How does this help me in my realm, in my ascension process, in my transition process? What does this mean to me? So being able to question a freaky dream from the outside looking in, that's part of the participation of the dreams. That's part of the things that's going to happen. Because here's one of the really weird things, and I'll just bring this up as a, as sort of an ending here, but it's very truthful. It's like, why, with all the ancient archaeology, we've seen, the Göbekli Tepe, we've seen the pyramids, all the Aztec stuff. I mean, the mound builders. Okay. Petroglyphs, thousands, some of this stuff maybe millions of years old. Talks about star travel and things like that. But here's the thing. And some of the Hopi and the Native American, because I studied Native American shamanism and traveled with folk and so forth, that we can travel between realms. We can travel to Pluto with a thought. And I mean, go there when we learn how to manifest. So all of this little training, all of these little baby steps are the steps to us manifesting our physical bodies, whatever realm they're in, meaning 3D, 4D, 5D. But so many of us can't transform ourselves. We're not going to need a spaceship. We're going to be able to just think of a spot and go there. We're going to be able to transport our entire being and self without the need of a spaceship or travel or all this hokiness. Then that's going to freak some people out. And we need to learn with baby steps how we can do this. Dream walking is one of those ways. Astral projection is another one of those ways. What I've been discussing in this video is what's important, because imagine folks are remote viewing other planets, they're remote viewing in Jupiter. Well, if you can remote view it, now you've not ever been there, so how can you tell me that your information is correct? Just saying, we need some parameters here to base on. But what if you could go to that place? Okay, so you put your little spacesuit on or whatever. But the thing is that what if you can go there and confirm what you saw in your dream world, in your dream walk, in your astral work? That'll be the next step. And don't you think we need a little bit of training on how to do it? Just saying. So folks who keep talking about this, we're going to ascend, not without baby steps. We got to have these basics. I mean, I want to learn how to manifest myself to the bathroom without stubbing my toe in the middle of the night. Hey, I'll start there. You know what I'm saying? Then I'll learn how to create plasma balls. And I've been practicing with that, by the way. And it's amazing. Think blue plasma ball. Think energy coming out the palms of your hands. And they come out all the time. I mean, in shamanism, you're taught about which hand has the positive, negative, and so forth. So if you take this and work your hands and start out close, but try not to touch your hands, and try to feel the energy coming off the palms of your hands. And I can feel it, and if I do this little thing, it's like, a positive and negative, the force of a magnet. When you try to push them together, you feel that pushing against them. Now that's invisible energy. That is like 0 point crap in a way, because you can't see it. You can test it. You can't smell it. Well, maybe you could, but to the point. So think of the left hand is usually the negative, usually. Right hand is usually positive. So all you're doing is putting two ends of a magnet together. And when you do this, seek the energy coming off the palms of your hands. And as you do so, then rotate and then try to expand it. Now, you've seen wizards. I mean, Harry Potter and other movies are doing it, and you see these people doing these things with their hands. The thing is, they are showing us how it's done. Well, in so many words. Well, what do you mean you can create this plasma ball? And it's one of these recent shows that's showing these people with special gifts. Guess what? That's going to be part of the learning in this transition phase. How to create a plasma ball with our own energy. That's going to be cool. And how we can use that to our benefit or whatever, or protection or expand around us. And then we can travel in that plasma ball to another planet. I mean, this is what this is going to be all about. These are the dream walks that I've been getting, and the information I'm getting is that these are the kind of weird, strange things we're going to be taught how to do these things. And so it's important we stay in kindergarten for a little while, to get some practice. This is green. We need to learn how to color it between inside the lines, because if you go outside the lines, you might end up in a total another reality, in another dimension, in another freaking galaxy, and not know how to get home. I mean, let's be serious about this. So, I say this jokingly, but not. The things that they're showing us with, creating these different, plasma balls and stuff with our energy is true. And that's what we're going to be learning how to do. So, blessings to all of you. I've been on here for almost 2 hours, and it was going to be I can't do a 30-minute video. What the hell? But to the point, though, I hope this made some sense. And I don't think I repeated myself too many times around this, but Zed to Quartz, to Rick and Delaney Jackson, and anybody else that's still on, I love you all. Continued love. Thank you for wondering where I've been. I've been off in the realm somewhere. Thank you for my prayers, and my prayers are always with you. I realized the other day I woke up for like a few minutes and said to myself, you know what? I haven't been on the computer. I haven't said anything to anybody. I'm going to say my prayers right now for everybody on YouTube and the Facebook and all of my friends in this quantum realm thing. And it's like, I remember doing it because I was like, I haven't been able to physically get on here and do it. So I sent out prayers to everybody wherever I was in my dream state. And I woke up like the next day and looked back on it and went, that's interesting. I was in my dream state and wanted to make sure, because I hadn't been awake long enough to physically say prayers and blessings to all of you in person. So I was like, so I did it, in the quantum the other day. I find it being a little bit humorous, but at the same time, that's how much I love you all. That's how much I care that this energy is passed around and that we can all absorb it. So that's a curious little thought on my part that, yeah, I did wake up out of this coma, if you will, to say prayers for everybody because I wasn't able to get online. So just let you know that when I say that I'm praying for all of you all the time, we've never met personally, but we have met in the quantum reality. We're meeting right now where our energies are combining. We're talking in the quantum. We're talking in the now, in the instant. And I think you've hung out with me long enough to know that, yeah, you get this too. So my ending prayer for all of you. I ask that every one of us will accept and receive the blessings from the universe. I pray that every single one of us will accept and receive these energies from the universe, from Creator, heal us, and give us the knowledge that we seek and that we need to continue. I pray that every single one of you will touch another person, and that person will touch another, and this information will just expand. I pray that every one of us stay safe in this chaotic time, and that we stay emotionally distanced from some of the stuff that's going on, and that we keep our energies as clear as possible. I pray these things in the name of Creator, If you wish to say God or Jesus, okay, fine. But I'm just saying this to the universe. All of us, be kind, be sweet. And somebody wrote something else. You can knock a person out with a wave of your hand if we refine our chi powers. You know what? That's absolutely true, Rick. Because if there's I've spoke about this before, but to your point as I finish this up, is that there's a Chinese guy or Japanese, Oriental, okay? And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude about that, but I Oriental, and I know that's just classifying a whole group of folk. But anyway, with the martial arts, and this gentleman, the last time I saw it, and there were YouTube videos years back, and students would line up every day for like an hour at lunchtime, and they would try to take on this master. And he was a little short dude, like 4'8" or something like that, and an old guy, and they would attack him, and he would use their energy and throw them literally across the courtyard. No, he was able to use their energetic forces against them. He didn't have to do anything, but he used his force to repel it. As he knew that energy was coming in, he would simply sidestep him. He didn't even have to touch him. It was amazing what this old gentleman did. And there's probably still video of it out there, but I was like, what? But that is using this unseen energy. And imagine if we can learn how to use it and transport ourselves to another universe. Oh my God. We're doing it now. We just don't really understand how we're doing it. So the clarifications are coming. That's real, Dave. Just real. Thank you. We are all long lost friends. Absolutely. And you know what? That's part of this as you speak, Rick and Delaney, about reunited. We are all coming together, like with Milky Way Weekly and different people and so forth. We as a collective are coming together. And my only warning is with folks is that, remember, it's really good to go down this trail and go down this one, but we need a broad spectrum of stuff. Folks who focus too much in one particular area right now are subject to losing out on other areas. So it's a warning shot. I know there are people who've been absolutely ticked off because I've said stuff like this, but it's a warning. Just be careful. Understand that there is more of awareness, and being focused in one area, you're just it's like only listening to the top 40. If you don't listen to jazz or classical music, if you only listen to one type of music, then you don't have any idea of what the broad spectrum of music is and the different frequencies and melodies. I mean, Oriental music with that, it's like really weird out there, with all those different sounds. But at the same time, there is a harmony in the chaos that they play. I can't remember the name of the but it's like a sitar, and I mean a sitar. That's another one. George Harrison played one, and with the Beatles album back in the late '60s. But to the point, though, it's like if you don't listen to different types of music, then you don't have a real certain types of jazz. It's just noise. I'm sorry, but rap music just don't get it with me. This boom, boom. I'm sorry. It just there's nothing in it. I want a melody. I don't want to have to listen to this. It's come on now. I know it's very popular, but I at least will acknowledge that it's there. I just don't like it, like some forms of jazz. But there are some forms of country music I can't stand. So there you go. There's some sort of rock I don't like, but give me Jethro Tull, thick as a brick. But so with that though, if we in this same learning of this transition, if we only focus on one area, then we're missing out on the rest of it. Doesn't mean that we have to like it, but we should at least listen or allow ourselves to know it's there or its existence. I mean, I think you get it. But so for those folks who are only just so narrow minded right now with some things, they're losing out on the rest of the music of the universe. That's what it amounts to. So I know I've pissed some folks off, and I don't mean to, but somebody needs to be the group. I got this. Somebody needs to be the grown up in the room. And I mean, even to myself, I have to be grown up and go, hey, but wait a minute now. Well, I've been down that road, but did I really go down it, or was it necessary? But to the thing is, keep it's it's a broad spectrum herbicide. I'm thinking in agricultural terms right now, but anyway, so we want to be broad spectrum. We want to be able to pick up, even though we don't like it. We need to be able to listen to the rap and go, yeah, okay, well, that rap song ain't too bad. So you don't discount 100% of it, maybe 90, and that's a bad analogy, but I think you get the idea, though, that the universe is full of music, full of sounds, full of lights and frequencies, and when we just focus in one area, we miss the rest of the FM state, all the rest of the FM stations. So I'm now I'm repeating myself. So wait, somebody wrote something else down. I first saw, Quart says, first saw you on YouTube when you were a guest on Milky Way Weeklies. Yes. And I think I pissed some folks off, just saying, I'm not sure, but I haven't been back on. This is on a number one track transition. Bad typer. They sing and do not cuss. Yeah. Well, cussing is anyway, that's another area, but to the point though. Yeah. And here's something, by the way, with the cussing kind of thing, it's like the music that they put out is negative. We're gonna, get her booty, gonna something, gonna jack down, slap down, whatever. So when I think about rap music, I don't think it's necessarily the beat. I think it's that it's so negative that they're not talking about love. I love my honey, and no. There's always some kind of gangsta thing in there, which is like biatch this and blah. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying. So I don't think so much in my own state of mind that it's just the music. I think it has to do with what they're pushing in the music. And, they're, some folks would say that back in my day, Ozzy Osbourne, I am Iron Man, or some of these other groups, it's like, well, that's really satanic. Well, but when you listen to rap, you're hearing it. It's not a suggestion. They're telling you they're going to go slap the biatch, they're saying it. So for every time it's played, that negativism is out there. It's not the beat per se, but it's what they're putting with it. And most of it is negative when you get into this rap stuff. I don't hear this rap about me and my baby going to picnic down by the bay, by the bay, boobity boobity. Me and her going to juke all night long. Okay, no, they ain't talking that. And just go back and listen to some old Barry White, if it gets you in the mood, kind of thing. But what people would consider being a negative, rap almost always is a negative, simply by what it is. It's the nigga rap and the days of the rap, and it's like, okay. So they're calling themselves the names. They're perpetuating their own demise. I mean, oh, and gold is bling and teeth and that. Oh man, come on, So the whole business of it is dark, So change, I say change the tune, but change the influence, change it away from, rap, killing and shooting and porking and killing and humping your, yeah, and then maybe the music wouldn't be so bad to me. So folks who are getting that are being, it's pumped in. And you can see it in some folks' faces, and it's just like, and they don't even really know that it's in there. And there are certain negative songs in that vein. I don't have to listen to the word. I can't understand most of them anyway because it's that it's the emotion that it's putting out hurts me. I mean, my ears, my being, it hurts. And I think it's not just because of the music per se, it's what's behind it. So we got to be careful. And this stuff is going on. It continues to go on. It will continue to go on for a little while. And there are a lot of folks talking about between now and the end of the year, there's a lot of stuff going on. And we were told, I guess, Monday or so this week, that there was going to be some really crazy, cray things out there. And oh, guess what? Now these pipe bombs and mail bombs and, and George Soros and stuff, we were told that things were going to get nutty about this time of the month. Here we are. Guess what? My note to you all, remember, observe, but do not get emotionally attached to the chaos. We must stay informed, but we got to keep our emotions out of this. And they're going to try to draw us in, and they're doing it. They're trying anyway. But I see more people who are going, you know what? That sounds like a false flag bullshit thing. Or that, you know what? Wait a minute. What? Now, pipe bombs are not good. Let's get this straight. But to the point, though, well, wait a minute. The folks they took pictures of them. It was like, well, that can't even blow up. It's just made to scare the shit out of somebody. Would you consider that more chaos? Absolutely. Are they trying to bring up, this stuff, before the elections? Absolutely. Is it going to get nuttier the next 2 weeks? Y'all just be prepared for weirdness. Keep your spirit as clean as you can with staying emotionally detached from what they're putting out there. Stay informed. Doesn't mean ignore it. It means keep your emotions out of it. I think you understand what I mean by that. But to other folks who might listen to this, please, please, please keep your emotions out of this chaos, okay? Because that's how we are defeating it. I know when I took my own emotions out of it, do I feel sad when somebody gets shot, murdered? Absolutely. But am I going to sit up and cry about it for 3 days and send flowers and face? No. Recognize it for what it is. It's a tragedy. Move on. Yes, pipe bombs, bad. Mail bombs, bad. Did they blow up? Could they blow up? No. Good. That means you can detach yourself from this. Am I going to get one in the mail? I haven't checked my mail in 2 weeks. I don't even know if I got mail. Just saying. So my neighbor's going to get the bomb, not me. But, just saying. But to the point, though, it's like we need to stay aware, but we need to keep our emotions as detached as possible. That's how we make it through this craziness here. So I am going to shut up. You guys keep bringing up such good stuff, though, and it's like, no, Ozzy is not satanic. I'm saying in my day, Rick and Delaney, Ozzy was considered a satanic type of person, is what I'm saying. So that Ozzy's music was therefore, in my day, okay, oh, that's satanic, ooh, that's, yeah. Okay. But to the point, though, all of rap music, 90% of what I've been able to understand is attached with negative crap. It just is. That aspect of hip hop is run by devils. Ooh, we're skipping. Derek Miner 1 7, Andy, they are big time. Check them out. Yeah. See, I have checked them out. And to the point though, it's like, it's, we just, we have to understand for what it is. So, yes, bye. Love you too. I've said my prayer and then went on for another 10 minutes. So, going to shut up now. But much love to all of you. And I got other things in the works too. So, I'll be back. Thank you all for your prayers to me. And as I always say, love, honor, compassion to all of you. Blessings from Creator bless you every single day, every moment of your life, and may the quantum catch up with you and keep you in tune. So, blessings. These dudes sing and rap about God. Well, that'd be cool. Bye. Love you too, Quartz Quantum, and everybody. Thank you much. Big hugs from South Georgia. Till next time. This is your old hippie friend, Hawkeye Two Feathers, saying, until next time, much love.